Everyone on the grid has something to race for. For some, it's the trophy. For others, merely pride. But for 4 drivers today, a special reward awaits. 100 grand. It's the nationwide Dash for Cash. Go get it, boys.
Gonna be fun to watch the race within the race. One of these 4 drivers is going to win $100,000 today. Highest finishing of Stenhouse Jr., Sadler, Dillon, and Annette, plus the driver that wins the cash today. And the other top 3 nationwide championship eligible finishers today will go into the race for the pot next week at Chicagoland Speedway. We'll follow the Nationwide Insurance Dash for Cash. You'll note those cars by the blue spoilers on the back, like the one on the back of our ESPN in-race reporter's car, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Ricky Stenhouse, Rusty Wallace, ESPN, you got us?
10-4, I got you, Rusty.
Well, Ricky, thanks for talking to us. We've got an ESPN mailbag question that comes from Whitney in Rogersville, Tennessee. The question is, after getting a few wins early on in the season and then struggling for a while, how do you get that early season momentum back?
I couldn't quite hear the question there, Rusty. It cut in and out, but you know, today's going to be about track position. It's going to be about keeping the fenders on it, keeping the tires on it, and just making the right adjustments. So hopefully we'll be around here at the end to get the job done. It's going to be an exciting race. We've got a great crowd, and we're looking to get Collierville Beef back to victory lane.
Hey, buddy, earlier in the year, it's no secret that you had some problems. You lost some points, kind of got behind. Does this flat 1-mile racetrack suit your driving style to get up there and get up some points and make up some lost points from the past?
Yeah, this is my type of racetrack, man. This is a racetrack you can drive really hard. You can do a lot inside our race car with your feet, with the steering wheel, to really get your car to handle around here. And you know, this is one of my favorite racetracks as far as short tracks go, and we're looking to have a good day. We want to win for Red Sox Nation here up in New England.
All right, buddy, have a great race today. Now, Andy's going to speak to your crew chief, Mike Kelly.
10-4, thanks.
Hey, Mike Kelly, Andy in the booth. We got a new tire Goodyear brought here, and in the past, this track position has meant so much that you would almost forego tires to just maintain it. Has this new tire changed that any, or will you see it about like it's been before here?
No, Andy, this is Loudon. It's like a big game of King of the Hill, track position king, and you'll do whatever you got to do to get it, and everybody will try and take it from you. So today's going to be about track position, getting it, keeping it, holding on to it till the end.
Okay, Mike, well, good luck with that, and hope you got good strategy. Thanks for talking to us, buddy.
All right, 10-4, thank you.
Some quick stories from pit road before we go green. Shannon Spake.
Well, Alan, Travis Pastrana rolls off 20th today. He told me this track reminds him a lot of Darlington. That's good because that's where he got his career best finish. It's also bad because Darlington, like Loudon, requires a lot of patience. Travis says he doesn't have a lot of that. The goal, a top 15. Vince?
An extra challenge for the 3 team today. Danny Stockman, the normal crew chief, is out because of suspension. Gil Martin will be on the box handling the crew chief duties for Austin Dillon. Martin was the crew chief for Dillon during the Cup race at Michigan earlier this year, so he is in good hands, Austin Dillon, in the 3. Doc?
After 2 wins early in the year, most people will tell you that points leader Elliott Sadler played it pretty conservative the past few weeks, but Elliott told me, hey, with a $100,000 bonus on the line today, it's time for our team to begin to gamble, and we will on pit strategy today. Alan?
All right, Doc, thanks. Brad Keselowski has chosen the outside lane, as is his right. The first of 200 laps on this shade over a mile track about to unfold. The guy waving the green flag atop the starter stand is the Lieutenant Governor of Vermont, 3-time champion at Thunder Road, Phil Scott, getting it underway. Look out, scramble in the pack. Everybody got away cleanly. Keselowski leads lap 1. How about Kyle Busch in that 54 car? Looking aggressive on the start.
Yeah, he was. He knows how important it is to gain every spot possible right off the bat because it is so hard to pass here.
For about those first 3 or 4 laps, we're going to see these drivers trying to get settled in. We talked earlier in the show about low air pressure and cold tires basically causes these guys to get all gaggled up like they were at the start of this race to get 3 and 4 wide, getting down in the corners. And that's what caused that problem. You'll see it all day long in these restarts.
Elliott Sadler 2, Kyle Busch 54. And this is the race for 5th and 6th places with Stenhouse Jr. in the 6th right behind him.
You see how Stenhouse using that very bottom lane. It's only about 2 degrees of banking down there. It's really effectively the apron, and they'll race on it all day.
It's a shorter way around the racetrack, but you get to move up the track a little bit more, Andy. You get a little more bite up there. And when Bob Baer, the original owner of this racetrack, shaped this track like that, he was trying to create some side-by-side racing. So that 2 degrees at the bottom and 7 up the top is what's letting these guys do that.
The 6 for 6th, Stenhouse Jr. trying to get that spot from Sadler.
Now Stenhouse got a good run up off that bottom side of the track off turn 2. Made the pass and got clear, and that's key. If you don't get clear coming up off the corner, you can just spend so much time trying to get that spot.
Alan, we talked about Stenhouse earlier having problems in Charlotte and in Dover, I believe in Michigan, with just handling and spins and broken drive shafts, things like that. And when I think about him, I think about him being so fast in 1.5 mile racetracks. This flat 1 mile track really did concern me, but from his in-race reporter, it sounds like he's excited to run on these shorter racetracks.
When you got somebody like Stenhouse, though, he's so talented. He's got so much talent behind the wheel. Really, any track he will be able to show that. And I've seen that week in, week out. It doesn't matter where we go. Stenhouse is going to be one of the players. See how he'll have to work the throttle right there coming off the corner. That's what he said. It's a real driver's track.
Really long straightaways and very flat corners. You're in the corner a lot here at New Hampshire. And you've really got to have this car hooked up off the corner to make those passes. You've got to be able to pick up the throttle early and have the back of the car committed to you so you can pull up underneath them, Andy, to make these passes. Tough racetrack to get handling on.
Kyle Busch heading that race for 5th. We check ahead the race for 3rd. Sam Hornish Jr. just ahead of Casey Kane there. Mentioned on the start how the field kind of got jammed up at the green flag. Just want to go back and look and make sure nobody got any caved in grills or bent fenders or anything like that.
Well, you can see the accordion effect. Just stack everybody up. It looks like Keselowski brought him down pretty slow.
Let's take a look at Ryan Truex in an 18 car here.
There's a
he
few
jumps.
that made contact. Danica and even back into
Danica.
Ryan took off, got on the brakes because the guys in front of him didn't get going. And you're right, Andy. It creates a big-time accordion effect. And you think it's tough right now, wait till like 10 laps to go in the race.
But everybody's ready to go.
That's when they're all pumped up and trying to get it done.
No brake identification tags on his car.
So Kyle may be looking to change the brake bias on his car from front to rear or the other way around, and maybe it's not marked.
Well, you do want to mark that for the driver, but one thing I've always done, I built every car that I ever built to make the brake adjuster work in one direction. Now, that was right is rear. If you turned it to the right, you were putting rear brake in it. And that's why I did that, just in case they were not labeled.
So Kyle in 5th position. He's 4 seconds behind the race leader, Brad Keselowski, and still locked in a fight there. Kyle is with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Brad K has led them all so far from the pole. Back live, New Hampshire Motor Speedway, NASCAR Nationwide Series just underway for 200 laps around this just over a mile track. Brad Keselowski started on pole in the Penske 22 and has led them all. Spent a little bit of time watching Kyle Busch in a tight fight for 5th place just before the break. Well, during the commercial break, Kyle pulled down to the inside, and about 4 cars have gone by him in 2 separate groups, and the 54 has slid back to 9th position.
Yeah, seems to be fine right now, but for a couple of straightaways, he would come off the corner, and it would just, it's like he's doing it again, just lay down. Shannon, what's going on with the 54?
Well, guys, Kyle came on the radio. He said 2 words, fuel pressure. The guys are on the wall right now. We're just waiting to see what's going to happen with that 54, but it sounds like a fuel pressure issue.
That's one thing they've been fighting this weekend. I thought they had that fixed. They probably did, too.
Well, Andy, a lot of these teams run cable-driven fuel pumps, and when they break, that is break, right?
Yeah, that would, if it broke, it wouldn't keep running at all. So I don't know what kind of issue they're fighting.
Of course, Kyle, winner of this race the last 3 straight years, had high hopes that this might be the place where he would get the breakthrough win driving his own equipment. But right now, out there under green, there's not a whole lot he can do behind the wheel.
No, and it's just really troublesome because they've had this issue already this week. I don't know what you'd think they would have gotten to the bottom of it.
All right, that's one thing I'd be interested in. Some of these cars run fuel pressure regulators up by the carburetors. Maybe they can make a pit stop and mess with that a little bit. But like we said earlier, some of them run cables, so obviously that's not broken. So the only thing you'd possibly do, Andy, is open hood on a pit stop and monkey with something, I would think.
Yeah, it's got to start somewhere, see if they can figure it out.
Sam Hornish Jr., 12. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 6. I'd say the battle of the juniors, except in NASCAR, that name means something else.
Yeah.
4th place here.
See that banking angle there? It's pretty easy to see how much flatter it is, and that very bottom lane. And a lot of times you'll drive right in on the bottom and then go up to the 2nd lane like he's doing right there. A little more bank right there. And as you exit the corner, you go back down to the bottom on that flat part.
It's by far the flattest track that we race on. 2 degrees at the bottom, 7 degrees at the highest point. Indianapolis is the next lowest bank track we have at 9 degrees. So this is very, very flat racetrack.
Good view there from our Dodge onboard of Hornish Jr. trying to pick his way through some of the lap traffic. '11, Brian Scott. 31 is Justin Allgaier. 54, Kyle Busch, continuing to slide back. And there's Jamie McMurray in this 30 for Turner Motorsports here this weekend.
Okay, what the tough thing for Kyle, he pulls down again there.
There it is.
I started to say the tough thing is when that fuel pressure goes away, you got a car right on your back end, and that car quits running, man, that can cause a...
It's Kurt. How much fuel pressure is there? Is it 0 or do you have anything? It's 0 when it runs out.
Oh, so frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be simple things like if that cable is not engaged properly, and it could be slipping in that. It could be, I've even had cars vapor lock and cause the same kind of an issue.
Tighten it up front. The double 3s tracking down the double 2s.
Kevin Harvick's been running about 1/10 of a second faster than Brad Keselowski about the last 10 laps here. You can see he just closed in on him. And yesterday, a lot of the guys in the garage area, Andy, were telling me that, man, Harvick's car is really good this week.
Yeah, Harvick, you always expect him to be good here. We'll see just how good his car is. If he can pull up here and make this pass, they'll tell me he's got a really strong car, because a lot of times you got 2 even cars that get about this close together here, and it just kind of stalls out. You can't get enough air on the nose to make the pass. It looks like that might be what's happening with Kevin now.
Pattern for Kevin Harvick in the Nationwide Series so far this year: lead a lot of laps, but not take home the trophy. See if he can change that pattern today. See if he can give us our first lead change, as Keselowski trapped in a little traffic there. Matt Fromm, New Hampshire driver in the 08 car.
I'll tell you what, I can't tell you how many times I've been on a guy's tail like that, and I just dart out to the left, outside of his mirror, and he checks up out of the throttle, thinking I'm on the inside when I'm not, and I make the pass
So
like that.
that's how you did that.
So a lot of guys do that. It's called the fake out, man, and it works every time.
That 24 car is Amber Cope. They actually started the race on pit road and behind pit wall with the hood up on that car. Now has joined the competition, though he is a number of laps down. All the way to the apron is the leader, Brad Keselowski. The Open Championship begins Thursday on ESPN. Which one of golf's greats will have the honor of hoisting the Claret Jug? First round of the Open Championship at Royal Lytham in St. Anne's, Thursday at 5 a.m. on ESPN, ESPN3, and live on Watch ESPN. Rusty, I know you're a golfer. Ever been over to Scotland or England to do some golf?
I never have, but I'd love to be invited one time. I'd love to go over there. And like I say, I'm not a great golfer. I'm about an 18 handicapper, but it keeps me having fun.
Those golf courses look too tough for me.
Had the pleasure of going over to Ireland on a golfing trip several years ago with my friend Benny Parsons. And boy, what an experience to go play some of those golf courses. Look forward to the Open Championship. Look forward to seeing how today's NASCAR Nationwide Series race turns out. Kevin Harvick, 33, second car there in the picture, had chased down your leader, Brad Keselowski, and then caught a lap car at just the wrong spot. Had to jump out of the gas coming up off of turn number 2, and Brad squirted back out to that gap you see right now. Updates from pit road, 30 laps into the run. Dave?
And And Alan, remember what Brad Keselowski told us in Countdown. What they've really worked on with the 22 car is the long run, getting faster. So as soon as he got pressure from Harvick, boy, he kicked it in, and his car is good toward the second half of this first run. One thing to note, it's a little free going into the corner, and that is where Harvick initially made up all his time on Keselowski. Vince?
Well, it's interesting on that 33 car how the tire pressures have affected Harvick's car. At the beginning of the run, he said it was plowing. Then the pressures came up. He said it was perfect. But on lap 31, he said it's starting to get a little bit too tight. They're going to free him up at the first pit stop, Alan.
All right, Vince, thanks. Casey Kane, 38, closing in on Harvick as they put Travis Pastrana a lap down.
And that's the guy you need to take a look at is Casey Kane. I've been looking at the lap times, lap after lap, and he's been the fastest guy on the racetrack. And occasionally, Ricky Stenhouse, who's not in the picture now, has been the second fastest car. So those guys are trying to work their way to the front.
See, Kyle Busch has been lapped by the leaders. Kyle down to 19th place.
You just got to know he's just hoping for a caution so they can come down pit road, lift that hood, and just try anything to get some fuel pressure out of that car. Give it just a little bit so the thing can run, because we're here and it's going right down to 0. It's not getting down to 2 or 3 pounds. And how much pressure, fuel pressure, these cars generally run now?
Oh, you run somewhere around 6, 7, 8 pounds of fuel pressure at the carburetor.
What will they stay running on?
Well, I mean, as long as they keep fuel delivering it, just any pressure would work. But when he's losing fuel pressure completely, it means there's just no fuel going to it. Could be a filter, could be anything.
I know I'm no rocket scientist, but when Kyle says on the radio it's going to 0, that's not good.
That's not good. Not good.
Elliott Sadler 2, Ryan Truex in the 18. This is for 8th and 9th spots. Remember that Sadler, one of the drivers in the hunt for the $100,000 Nationwide Insurance Dash for Cash bonus today, and also, by the way, championship leader in the Nationwide Series starting today. And Ryan Truex, young man looking for a chance to race and race a lot more, just needing to continue to build that sponsorship portfolio and interest from sponsors in him. And boy, didn't we all feel for him at Dover at the beginning of the month of June when he led that race until 6 to go and then lost out.
Such a heartbreaker for him to lose that race. He ran good enough to win and figures now he can win. And he's wanting to be in the series full time. I'm glad to hear him say that.
Talked with Ryan earlier this weekend and asked him how long it took for him to get over losing out on that Dover win. Here's what he said.
Every time I look back at Dover, I just think, what could I have done different? And I've only seen the replay probably twice. It really drives me crazy to watch it, but it was just, perfect storm. Just caught guys at the wrong spot at the track, and they were racing each other. So you can't dwell on the past too much. Obviously, it's still in my mind, and I think about it, but it makes me more hungry to go and win a race this year.
I won't be over it till I win one. The thought from Ryan Truex on losing out on that Dover race. Caution out, debris on the racetrack has brought the pace car in front of the field for the first time, and now the first chance for those pit crews to go to work and maybe tune up on those race cars. There it is.
These pit crew members are so important here, having a fast stop and getting their driver positioned up front, whether it's 4 tires, 2 tires, or whatever. But I'm going to be watching Kyle Busch's car right now to see what they can do to get that thing running again. Get some fuel pressure. Looks like he's a lap down right now. He can get the lucky dog, get back in this thing if they can crank up that regulator, get some more pressure in this car.
Bet we see him pit with the lead lap cars here and take the penalty because they need all the time they can to get a look at that 54. Lap 38, first stops of the day, Doc.
And remember, track position is so critical. Here's Casey Kane. They're going to go with right side power kick. They said the car is a little bit loose in, but it turns awfully good. Air pressure, right sides only. Janet.
Keith Stenhouse Jr., your lower left in the 6th car. He says the car is giving up grip. The call for 4 tires and a track bar adjustment. Vince.
Harvick up the right-hand portion of the screen. They made a chassis adjustment, also air pressure adjustment, a little too tight.
Obviously some strategy played there. We saw the Casey Kane pit stop and a few others going to try just the 2 tires.
Yeah, Keselowski, Harvick, both taking 4. We'll see if they can make some passes on those new tires.
So Casey Kane is going to be your new leader when we get set to go back to green. From Travis Pastrana's car, perhaps the debris that brought out the caution. Or Travis going for a ride up out of the groove. So wrapping up the first caution of the race, Kyle Busch back in for a second stop. Shannon?
Left side tires for Kyle Busch this time. And of course, he's been having the fuel issue. Guys, he came down pit road. They changed the carburetor. They also changed the fuel filter. But this is one area where Rick Wrenn and the team feel like they could have used some improvement. They had some issues last week at Daytona. They said they needed to get more effective on pit road. So before the stop, they were telling each and every crew guy what their job was and how to get out there and execute it as quickly as possible. But of course, Kyle Busch, if he's going to get it 4 in a row, it looks like it's going to be a tough one. Alan?
All right, Shannon, thanks. Better look at what brought out the caution. Travis Pastrana did have some contact and dropped some debris. Looked like he had a flat left front down on this 99 car. And that is what brought out the caution, is the debris from the 99.
Yeah, it could have been a tire rub from that first start of the race when a lot of them accordioned up, had some contact.
Casey Kane, left of your picture, chose the outside lane for the restart. He's your leader, 38 car. Look out, little bottleneck there. Brian Truex in the 18, taking just right side tires on the caution. Sam Hornish in the 12, got 4, and he's in a hurry.
You can tell that mixture of 2 tires versus 4 tires really bottles up the competition up in front. But up in front, Casey Kane, tell you what, Kane was one of the fastest cars right before that caution happened. And now with him 2 tires, with the clean air up front, you can tell it's just let him set sail right now.
You're going to see that the 2 tires.
Whoop. 7 and 88. Sorry, yeah. Little contact there.
You'll see that 2 tires in clean air are worth more than 4 tires in trying to work your way up through the pack. You see, Keselowski had by far the best car, and he's still trying to fight his way back up, even though he does have 2 left side tires that are fresher than the rest.
Tell you what, that's a good point, Andy, because whenever you can put 2 tires on and get the car up front in that clean air, like you said, that clean air is everything. It puts more downforce on the front of the car, lets the brakes run cooler, makes the driver run cooler. Everything's just better up front, you know.
Yeah, even Harvick right there in the 33, trying to gain a few of those spots back. He's got 4 tires.
I hear people all the time saying, man, he had 4 tires. Why isn't he quicker than the guys that got 2 tires? It's that track position thing.
Kyle Busch is taking the 54 behind the wall.
Yeah, that carburetor was not the problem. That's what I say, Rusty. You don't know. That's what's so frustrating about a problem like that. You don't know where to. You just got to start somewhere and start eliminating things.
And they had this problem in practice. They were telling us they kept changing everything in the world. They got qualified with no problem. And Kyle said in his interview he's hoping that that problem wasn't going to pop up again, but it has.
Shoving around back there in the pack as Danica Patrick in the 7 and Jason Bowles in the 81 and Cole Witt in the 88 have been knocking fenders around for a couple of laps here.
Like Danica will win that battle, at least for now.
Quick strategy recap. Mike Wallace got the free pass on the last caution, back onto the lead lap. Right side tires only for Kane, Dillon, Sadler, Truex, and Allgaier. Update on the 7 car, Dave.
The bad news early run was that she had a brake vibration that she somewhat cured by dragging the brake and putting more heat into the rotors. The good news is that the car is doing kind of what you'd expect it to do. It started the run loose. By the end of the race, or by the end of the run, it was hard to turn in the middle of the corner. So they made a slight air pressure adjustment, but really, that's what Tony Jr. would have expected the car to do.
I tell you what, that brake problem, Dave, you talked about, there's a lot of drivers that experience it. To get on the
Doubled up for the restart, just shy of halfway today in the NASCAR Nationwide Series 200 lapper. Jeremy Clements, free pass on the caution. Back on the lead lap, he is in 17th position. Look at the restart order for you. Brad Keselowski led the first 38 laps of the race, gave it up on the first pit stop by taking 4 tires when Casey Kane only got 2. Casey led the next stretch of the race, took 4 tires on this yellow. Keselowski took 2. Now they've exchanged spots.
Green flag, green flag. Still in.
Kevin Harvick with an aggressive move to the bottom of Kane and Hornish.
Well, Harvick has really used that apron to make that car turn. Do a little bit more right now. That'll flat make that car turn better when you kind of de-wedge the car, I call it. It'll hook that front end better. As long as it don't get too loose up off the corner with these new tires, he can hold on for a couple laps like that.
Brian Truex diving to the inside in 118 car. You'll see the leaders overtaking Jeremy Clements. They got the free pass, but they pitted twice under the yellow and took fuel, and you're only allowed to do that once when you get the free pass, and so they had to come back down pit road for a penalty and basically gave it back up.
Yeah, costly mistake for Jeremy Clements.
All right, so Brad Keselowski has established the lead over Cole Witt and Sam Hornish taking third there from Austin Dillon. Caution brought out a minute ago for a hard crash from Travis Pastrana, Shannon.
And Travis Pastrana released from the infield care center. He's all right, Alan. I know how disappointing this is for you. Can you sum up your day?
Yeah, well, our day actually ended before the green flag. We had a really good car, had something that I really thought we could work with. The guys at RAB, Samsung, Boost Mobile, KMC. Really, we put a lot of work into coming out here. Went up, balled up on that start. I guess the green hadn't even gone yet, but everybody took off, and I was shifting up through the gears, and all of a sudden it just stopped, and it caved in the front of our car, and before I even hit the green flag of the first lap. And we were just super tight after that, and just the front right tire just couldn't take it, and eventually just gave out. So sorry guys, really disappointed for everybody. We really never even got to run a lap here, but I think we made a lot of strides, and I won't make that mistake again. I won't go so green.
Travis, racing is so mental. Racing is so mental, and you have another race tonight with the Global Rallycross. How do you get now in the mode to get in that car and race that car?
Well, I guess it's kind of a good thing because I get directly out of this and just go back and really work with the rally team and get focused on that. So it gives me a little more time there. But honestly, this is where I want to be, and I'm just disappointed I didn't get the team a shot to see what all the work we've done in the last couple weeks has done. But really looking forward to rally. We qualified third there. We have a good car, so hopefully I'll put that on top of the box.
See you a little later, Travis. Guys.
Shannon, thanks. Fenders bending, little smoke flying here. 3 wide, Stenhouse to the inside, 6. Sadler in the 2 gives way. Allgaier 31, Truex 18. They're all in the mix. And Sadler continues to struggle in that deuce.
Well, he looked like he was going to be able to make that pass on Allgaier and had a pretty good run going. Then couldn't get by Allgaier. Looks like he lost a few. Losing more.
Ryan Scott in the 11. Michael Annett 43. Look out.
Brian Scott kind of used him up.
You know what, Elliott Sadler's up in that top lane, just really struggling, guys. Just can't get that car going. He's losing more positions now. And they've really got to talk to their teammates right now and really got to try to figure out what's going on in this thing. If they're going to get back in the game, they got 105 laps left in this race. They can fix it. There's plenty of time. They've got to figure out what's wrong first.
Ryan Truex 18. Stenhouse in the 6. Allgaier 31. There it is for 8th place. Just file that away in the back of your mind if we see the 2 and the 11 around each other again later. That can be how things work here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, it looked like Brian Scott ran in there and ran him completely out of the groove all the way up in the marbles.
There you go.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a classic case when you sail in the corner and you're side by side. You lose that downforce, even on a short track. Brian Scott got loose and kind of went up in Elliott a little bit.
Yeah, and then Elliott lost a little side force.
Yeah.
From the contact.
Sadler back to 15th place. So Brad Keselowski, after regaining his track position, the track position he lost on the first pit stop due to strategy, that he regained on the second pit stop due to strategy, and he's gone.
Yeah, he's really gone right now. And I think one thing that's making him run faster, yet Dave Burns told us to sit down there on the pit road. It's really cooling down outside, maybe about 10 degrees. And boy, I tell you, generally when that happens, if you got a loose race car, that'll help it. That'll tighten the car up a lot and just make it handle better. And Dave, it looks like the temperature is almost fixing Brad's car.
I would say it's comfortable now, Rusty, so that's great down here. And so they made a very minor adjustment because the weather has helped, and the sun is still behind the clouds. No sign of it at this point. As for Keselowski this weekend, he hasn't been fast every lap. He had some trouble with his rhythm around this place, and that's because at a flat track like this, going from his Cup car to his Nationwide car, it's a little bit of a different story. You're after the gas so long at this racetrack that it took him a while to figure where he was and how he could really drive this track with rhythm. But he got it, and he got the pole, and he's been leading most of the day.
So Dave will watch for signs of the sun coming back out, but no sign of that right now, as it seems to be helping Keselowski extend his lead. Second place, Hornish in the 12, having a very impressive drive.
Very impressive drive out of Sam Hornish. We talked in NASCAR Countdown about, you know, what we think of Sam Hornish, what kind of gains he's made this year. And I was a little bit disappointed. I thought he would do better. But it looks now, I mean, as we approach the second half of the year, it looks like he's getting more and more comfortable. And right now he's running in second place right behind his teammate, who's leading the race, Brad Keselowski. I really think that the Penske camp also is feeling better and better about Sam. It's well documented that last week they put him in A.J. Allmendinger's car, and now they've put him in that 22 A.J. Allmendinger car again this week. So a lot of confidence for Hornish.
Pretty good little race here for third place on back. Remember that Austin Dillon is the leader of the Nationwide Insurance Dash for Cash Group so far, and in position in that 3 car to win the $100,000, but still got half the race to go here at New Hampshire. Now he's won the pole for this race now for 3 straight years, but in the past 2 he started first and didn't finish there. Brad Keselowski trying to hold on to that #1 track position and see if he can take home the trophy today.
We are 106 laps into the race here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Brad Keselowski is out front. So far we've seen 2 cautions for 12 laps. And Brad, that is a far cry from the race here 1 year ago. 9 cautions in that one.
Yeah, but only 1 in the first 94 laps, Nicole. So I think there's more to come as we get further into the race.
A sign of things to come.
But I've really been surprised at Sam Hornish Jr. We heard the guys up top talking about how well he's running. He is doing a great job. Brad Keselowski obviously has a tremendous lead, but Sam is holding tough. And as this race tightens up and gets a little bit closer towards the end of the day, he may have a good opportunity to chase his teammate to victory lane.
Yeah, so right now it's Penske 1-2. The guy running third is Austin Dillon. We've talked a lot about him the last couple of years, a couple of races.
Sure.
Compared to the guy he's competing with in the championship, Elliott Sadler, they're kind of far apart right now.
Boy, I tell you,
not just on the track.
Yeah, Elliott's really struggling, just can't seem to get the rhythm, and he's struggling with his race car. Austin Dillon and crew chief Gil Martin, they haven't missed a beat. Strong again this week. Bill's week in and week out gets better and better. But Elliott's got to build some adjustment to that race car before we get to the end of the day.
AB, let's head back upstairs to you.
Looking like that sun might be coming out from behind the clouds as well, Nicole. So we'll see how that might affect that lead car of Brad Keselowski and all the others Dave was reporting a minute ago. When it got cooler, it seemed to help what was ailing our race leader. Stories of the race so far, just a couple of caution flags. The lead has changed hands basically by strategy on pit road. And when somebody has gotten out in front, they have been able to take a lot of advantage of it.
Well, Keselowski's had the best car pretty much from the start. He only lost the lead under that strategy play when the other cars took 2.
This is Joey. How much are those clean air? And you like going fast? Yes, we get it. Clean air and fast. 10-4.
Well, he's just trying to make sure that they realize what that's worth. That's probably worth more than putting any amount of tires on.
So let me ask you this, Andy. We saw the 22 there take 4 tires first yellow, lap 38. 2 tires second yellow, lap 82. We're about in the window now where they're going to make one last pit stop. What do you do?
Yeah, he's kind of worked himself in the box a little bit because he's going to have more laps on his left sides if he decides to go right side only on this next stop. Now, the guys that took 4, that's what they're setting themselves up for, that they could just come in under that last stop and get 2 and get out there and get track position. I think Keselowski, if they looked at their left side tires and they look okay, I think he'll do 2 tires again.
Now, Kevin Harvick from behind the wheel of his car, kind of on the opposite strategy of Keselowski tire-wise, and he's following along with the way this thing's playing too. We listened to this just a little bit ago.
I'm assuming the 22 and 88 are on 2 there. That's good. I mean, we needed to stay on cycle with the guys that put on 2 and had to put on 4 because I think in order to win this race, you're going to have to put on 2 on the last pit stop to keep the track position.
Yeah, that 38 car, he didn't drop off 1 bit taking 2 tires.
That just after that last round of pit stops 2 laps ago.
Yeah, I know what he's saying is they got 4 into that first pit stop, and so they decided to go 4 again so they could stay on the strategy with Austin Dillon and Casey Kane, who did just do 2 the first time and 4 the next time. That way they can just take 2 on that last stop.
You know, one thing I'm noticing is going on right now that might mess all that strategy up is that the sun just came out and it's boiling down on the racetrack here at New Hampshire right now, so the track temperature will be heating back up, and I wouldn't be surprised if it starts altering the way these cars are all handling out there right now.
Austin Dillon, 3-car, working over the back bumper of Sam Hornish Jr. in the 12. And this for second place. 33, 38, Harvick, Kane, closing in.
Yeah, we're going to have a good race for second spot. Keselowski's moved out by about 3 seconds. All these cars coming back together.
Here's the gap, first to second. Couple of dodges at the head of the field right now. 85 laps to go. Another round of pit stops. And if it unfolds like last year, who knows how many more cautions. Trouble turn number 1. Danny Eflin in the wall, caution out just as we come back to the FW Webb 200 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Yeah, we just got I tried to let them go around. I was trying to get plenty of room, but I guess they wanted to go 3 wide or something.
Danny speaks of Cole Witt in the 88. And
my bad, sorry.
Ryan Truex in the 18, who were racing for a spot on the lead lap.
You know what that looked like? It looked like Cole Witt tried to get on the brakes and just locked up the rear wheels or something, or just couldn't get slowed down quick enough.
Yeah, it's just real.
I don't think he did it on purpose.
Wow.
He was obviously racing for a spot. He was trying to keep position. I think he just got in there a little too hot.
Danny had just taken a wave around to get back one of a couple of laps that he had lost earlier. That was a race for 9th position, by the way, between Cole Witt and Ryan Truex. Pit road closed, but 88 with some damage, so in early, and he'll have to start at the back end of the line.
But we're at that window, Alan. It's 79 laps to go.
Yes, sir. So what do you do?
So you're going to make a pit stop, get a little gas, stay as little as possible, get right sides, and back out.
I like that right side ideal. I think it's just way too late in the race right now to chance putting 4 tires on and trying to drive all the way back up through that field.
And just to pay off for one final time a story on the day, Kyle Busch has been back on the track for a little while, Rusty. He's 28 laps down in 29th place, but you think it's important that he brought that car back from the garage?
Yeah, I've been paying attention to that. I mean, hate to take that car home and not know what was wrong with it. They changed everything in the world now, and it appears they fixed it, so they do have some peace of mind when they go home to know, hey, look, it was a fuel cell, or it was the carburetor, or it was this. At least they know now.
All right, so Kyle out on the track and trying to figure out in the end what it was, and here come the leaders, and it's time to figure out who's got the right strategy, who comes out with the lead, and what the running order is going to shape up for the restart, and that will probably determine how things proceed for the later stages of this race. 77 laps to go. Vince?
Kevin Harvick, upper left-hand portion of your screen, a little bit too loose. It's going to be a 2-tire stop, air pressure, and Sunoco fuel. The 3 of Austin Dillon, also a 2-tire stop for Dillon. A slight air pressure adjustment. Dave?
Second place and leader, the right-hand side of your screen. They both want that track position. 2 tires for both of them. Slight adjustment for Sam Hornish. His car was just a little bit free. No changes for Brad Keselowski. It's close as they exit, Alan.
Keselowski by a nose. The scoring line being not all that far in front of the number 1 pit stall that Keselowski was privileged to select by winning the pole for today's race. We happen to have a camera right on that pit exit scoring line, and check this out.
That number 1 pit stall is so valuable. You can see why right there.
By a nose or a hood, but not a windshield. Come back for the restart in a minute. Be sure to check out NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. 75 laps to go. And a Penske 1-2 with Brad Keselowski leading Sam Hornish Jr. at this point. This the first of the nationwide insurance Dash for Cash 4-in-a-row races. Right now, the 4 drivers racing for the $100,000 bonus run in those positions. Still close. Highest finisher of those drivers gets the $100,000 today and qualifies to race for the $100,000 next week at Chicagoland. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., our in-race reporter. Rusty's 8th.
Hey, Ricky, Rusty Wallace up here in the ESPN booth. You got us?
10-4, I got you.
Hey, buddy, just checking on your day, man. How's that car handling out there for you right now? We've noticed the sun's been in and out. 2 tires, 4 tires, all that stuff. Is it eating all that stuff up?
We are wearing out the tires. We're driving it hard, but our Cargill Beef Mustang has been decent all day. The first run was probably our best, but we're working on getting back there. We lost a little track position when the guys hit 2 tires, but we drove back up through there, and I think we're good to go on skills, so we'll just start picking it off one at a time here and see how these 2 tires work out for us.
Ricky, you've been just on the car throughout the day. Do you feel like you got it as close as it needs to be right now to drive this baby up to the front? You're picking a couple positions up on, as far as not positions for points, but you're like 18 or 19 points behind. Now you're 17, so you're itching away at it there.
We've been a little loose, been a little tight, so hopefully Mike made the right adjustment here on this 2-tire stop. Should dial it in and go get these guys.
All right, man. Thanks for talking to us. Have a great race.
Thank you.
Defending series champ Ricky Stenhouse Jr., our ESPN in-race reporter today in 8th position. Penske 1-2 up the front of the field. A lot of focus on Penske racing this week after last Saturday. A.J. Allmendinger being temporarily suspended by NASCAR after failing a drug test. The captain is here today at New Hampshire watching his 2 cars run today, as he will tomorrow.
I drove for him for over 20 years, and for him to come on a Saturday race is very uncommon. He's a real busy guy, but you can tell that he really cares, and he wants to see how Sam's going to do. He's really thinking about that number 22 Cup car tomorrow, and knowing Roger like I do, he wants to be here for all the support that he possibly can. So it's real impressive to see Roger here, a real busy guy.
Jeremy Clements, free pass, restart, 72 laps to go. There are 18 cars on the lead lap, and it is Roger Penske's 2 Dodges side by side in the front row. Sliding up, Dillon going to make it 3 wide.
And those restarts are tough, like I talked about earlier, Alan, getting the air pressure up and getting the heat in the tires, and you got to kind of hold on for dear life for about the first 5 laps until those babies come alive, you know.
Well, Kevin Harvick didn't give him a lot of room right there. He pulled right down on the right side of him, took all that side force out. Sam about lost it.
Well, with us earlier, Rusty talked about the first 5 laps after a restart being so difficult on a driver at this track.
Out on the cars, it is moving all over the place in those first 5 laps, like I said, when the tires are getting happier. And you just got to drive through it. You got to be aware of it. You got to understand you're going to get beat up by the guys behind you, occasionally bumped into, and finally they settle in and the car starts handling better.
Those little whoops there where the road course crosses the back straightaway of the New Hampshire Oval. Always an interesting spot. You see the front ends of those cars jump up and down when you see them coming at you down the backstretch.
Danica's an interesting spot in the middle, 3 wide. He's going to make the pass on Brian Scott and come out ahead of all these cars. Nice move.
Puts Patrick into the top 10. Ahead of her, 31 Allgaier, 30 McMurray, 2 Sadler.
It's like Sadler's feeling his oats again now and might have his car working a little better.
Well, last pit stop, they had to do something to get it better because it was sure going the wrong direction. You know, talk about Danica right there. I got to give her a pretty good grade today. I mean, she's really, her lap times have been getting faster and faster as this race has went on. And that was a pretty gutsy move she just made a little while ago, taking it 3 wide and coming out ahead of all those guys. So she's showing a little aggression, and she needs to do that. Because we talked earlier in the show countdown about how she needs to close the deal, Andy, and she's got to get aggressive late in these races to close that deal.
Well, she's running good. She's tracking down Elliott Sadler, the point leader right now.
Our GoDaddy.com onboard camera. 3, Dillon, 38, Kane. 4th place at stake here. Stenhouse Jr. in the 6, right in the mix. Onboard Dillon, the AdvoCare camera. Give Austin the spot, and currently the front running of the 4 Nationwide Insurance Dash for Cash drivers. And what a cap to a difficult week it would be for that 3 team if they could take home the bonus today.
You know, Alan, I can honestly tell you when I was driving, the money was never on my mind. If we knew we had a big money day going on, the money came in my mind about the last 20% of the race.
Yep.
That first 80%, I was just running and driving and trying to get that car handle. And then you get a little, you're ready, your spotter would say, hey, man, you're racing for a lot of money. Don't forget that. And by the way, it's right in your sight.
Yep.
That's when you put a bullseye in that guy and you go for it. But right now, they're thinking about, let's get this car handling better. Let's get the position. They're not thinking about money at the moment.
We're not down to that last 20% yet.
You're right.
Vince, how about this 3 car?
Yeah, they're pretty happy with it right now. They made an air pressure adjustment on the first stop, track bar adjustment on the second, no adjustments on the third stop, a 2-tire exchange. And remember, when you're talking about missing your crew chief, Austin Dillon has worked with Gil Martin before. He worked with Martin when Austin ran the Cup race at Michigan. Gil Martin was his crew chief. Martin has won here before in the Cup Series when Clint Boyer was his driver. So a deep staff on this RCR team, and that's really paying off for him today.
Yeah, Vince, again, as we mentioned earlier in the day, with modern communications technology being what it is, yes, Danny Stockman's not allowed to be at the racetrack, but you can bet he's not out of touch with this race team between instant messaging and text messaging and Skyping and all that other kind of stuff. And just a plain old cell phone call. How about just plain old?
Plain old, yeah. Low tech.
Dillon trying to get 3rd from Sam Hornish Jr. Brad Keselowski's got the lead. Everybody wants it from him. We've still got 62 laps to go. Reminder that still a lot more racing to come from New Hampshire Motor Speedway today here on ESPN. Those ramps will be on this track in various places for the Global Rallycross Championship tonight at 7 Eastern. Next weekend, included in our ESPN Motorsports coverage, the Mopar Mile High NHRA Nationals qualifying next Saturday, 2:30 Eastern, ESPN2. And the finals next Sunday at 7 Eastern, ESPN2. Also, the American Le Mans Series runs the Grand Prix of Motorsport, 1 Eastern next Sunday on ESPN2. And this NASCAR Nationwide Series goes to the Mile-and-a-Half Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois. Coverage of the STP 300 next Sunday, 2 Eastern, here on ESPN.
You want to talk about those ramps. There's just something about a race car and ramps at a racetrack just don't sound right to me.
No, your style was more going fast and turning left, not going up in the air and back down again. Every time you went up in the air and back down again, it didn't work out well.
I landed in a hospital every time that happened.
Brad Keselowski out in front, 55 laps to go. There's 2nd place, Kevin Harvick, 33, trying to chase him down, hoping that maybe some of this lap traffic the leaders have been beginning to encounter will help him out. The view from the Barber Foods onboard camera.
Now he's looking ahead with that 22, but also he has a car behind him that's coming pretty good. His teammate, Austin Dillon. I'm watching his monitor. I'm telling you, for about 10 or 12 laps, he has had the fastest car on the track. I've seen that a lot with Austin Dillon. He's just really a strong closer in these races. If he's not up front, he's working his way to the front. He's running lap times that are comparable to the leader or better.
And just for folks that aren't familiar with the terminology, Andy, the monitor you're talking about is the NASCAR timing and scoring monitor that shows each car's lap time and speed each lap of the race as it comes by us.
Yeah, we've got some cool high-tech things, too, that every time they go by, it'll show me the top 3. It puts a 1, 2, and 3 beside the 3 fastest cars every lap. So at a glance, we can see who is the quickest car.
Solid day for Sam Hornish Jr., who's been particularly aggressive on restarts in my eyes and gained a good bit of track position in the first few laps after each restart. Casey Kane was the leader of this race from lap 39 to lap 81. His crew took right sides only on that lap 38 pit stop, and then got 4 tires on the lap 82 pit stop, and that sent him from the lead a little further on back. The fresh from Florida Gulf seafood on board for Casey Kane.
And he had the fastest lap last lap.
You talk about our monitor up here in the booth. It's really fun to look at because, I mean, we started this race and Austin Dillon was second in the points. Or no, he was little for he's only 1 point out of the lead right now. Ricky Stenhouse was 18 points out. Now he's only 15 points out. So we can watch these things constantly changing up here. It's a great piece of equipment.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 6th car, running in 6th. We look back now to Justin Allgaier, running in 7th.
Allgaier's having a good day. It's just one of these. Justin has not had the kind of year that I would expect him to go out and have with wins and contending every week, but he's been good. He's been pretty good. But they are lacking just a little. Oh, there's Danica around.
Caution is out.
Wheel straight, wheel straight, wheel straight. Now you're clear, come on.
Nice job, Ryan Truex, to avoid contact there when Patrick was spinning in front of him.
It's a doggone good job how she saved that car.
Danica running in 10th spot.
Got into a lap car.
Jason Bowles in the 81, the first car, 1 lap down.
Half back here. Inside. That's it. Wheel straight, wheel straight, wheel straight. Now you're clear, come on.
Nice job, Danica, not to hit anything too.
Inside, inside.
All right, so caution out, 50 laps to go. What do we see? Much of anything?
Well, I would stay out if I had enough fuel in the tank.
I think for sure see Danica come down pit road and put 4 tires on.
But these leaders should be staying out. I can't imagine trying to give up any track position right now. Watch the lap times too. I was watching Keselowski's lap times. They're staying pretty good. When these tires cool off, they'll restart really fast.
Elliott Sadler will be the first one.
Elliott looks like Stenhouse wanted to, but stayed out.
Yeah, I believe that was a good move for Elliott Sadler to come down pit road because he was losing a lot of time. They still don't have their car right, Doc?
You're exactly right, Rusty. The car is very, very tight in the middle and just has no rear grip whatsoever trying to get in or get off. It made it better, and actually he said it was coming to him a little bit, but now 4 more tires, air pressure change, clean the grill, and top it off with Sunoco. Dave?
And Doc, a shame for Danica Patrick. She had a top 10 run going. They're going to make a chassis adjustment here. Race car was a little bit loose, but they've been encouraging her to really drive in and challenge the other cars deep into the corner. It's part of what got her in trouble there with Jason Bowles.
17 cars on the lead lap. Only 5 of them choose to pit. Elliott Sadler gave up 9th place. New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the FW Webb 200 about to go back at it with 46 laps to go. Brad Keselowski, 22 outside lane, is your leader. Kevin Harvick with him. You look at the rest of the restart order while I tell you that Jason Bowles got the free pass on that caution. Was the first car lap down. And Elliott Sadler gave up 9th to pit. He'll restart 14th. Looking for grip, looking for running room anywhere you can find it. Kevin Harvick looking for the lead. Brad Keselowski looking to try and hang on to it.
That's pretty interesting. You got the 2 Dodge drivers. You got the 2 Richard Childress teams right there. And you got one of the lone Ford guys back to Ricky Stenhouse picking up right on the outside, coming in the screen.
I think that outside lane is the preferred line, at least on cold tires when the tires cool down on these restarts.
Well, we know these cars got a lot less horsepower than the Cup cars do, so If they keep that momentum going, Andy, on the outside, have the grip, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, see, Austin Dillon was trying to work the inside on Sam Hornish, and he loses that spot and the spot to Ricky Stenhouse. And he had the fastest car on the track before the caution came in. Nobody made a pit stop for tires, so you assume he would still have what he had before.
So new order at the front of the pack. 33 in front of 22. Kevin Harvick has seen it up for the back bumper of that Keselowski car for much of the afternoon. And now he's got it in his rearview mirror.
Two Dash for Cash cars racing for a position. And here's another one. Another set of them racing for that spot.
Stenhouse and Dillon 6 and 3. 4th and 5th place. And that will be the first of the Dash for Cash cars and first in line for the 100 grand.
It's getting right down to it. 43 laps to go, so these cars are good. I'm sure Stenhouse has given everything he's got, but I think that Austin Dillon may have the better car. Not through there.
The 3 car of Austin Dillon, the 33 of Kevin Harvick, the 2 teammate cars out of Richard Childress Racing have been solid throughout the day. And I agree with you, Andy. I've seen them first and second on their timing board up here in the booth many times today.
One thing Austin Dillon has done a good job of this year is taking care of his car. You look at it, you don't hardly ever see a scratch on it, other than last week he got wrecked at the finish line. But he does that, and he's not, I think he gives up a little bit on restarts. He's not quite as aggressive as some of them are, because I don't think you can have both. It's hard to be aggressive and not put your car in jeopardy. So I think that's one of the strong points for Austin Dillon. It'll serve him well in the championship run.
Hey, Andy, just a thought. You know, a strategy's worked out well for you. Within a couple laps of the restart, you've gotten back everything you gave up by pitting. Remember, Elliott Sadler gave up 9th, restarted 14th. In just these few laps after the restart, he's back up to 9th. And trying to get 8th from Jamie McMurray, the Nationwide Insurance Dash for Cash on board here with Sadler.
Well, you know, we talked in the pre-race about playing the cards you're dealt. They've had a car that's not very competitive. They needed to make a pit stop to work on it. They didn't have to really gamble much to make that last pit stop. Got 4 tires to adjust on the car, and now it's paying off for them.
And Doc, so far that last move is probably the best thing that's worked out for him all day, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. He goes back by McMurray for position. You know, in the very first stop of the day, they pulled a rubber out of the rear, and that's when their problem started. Well, in that last stop a moment ago, in addition to the 4 tires, they put that rubber back in, and guess what? The 2 cars taking off the best it has been all day.
So Elliott up to 8th position.
And, you know, as a driver, you're in that car going, well, I've been off a little bit all day long, but everybody in front of me's got no tires, and I got 4 tires, baby. I better drive this thing because they just gave me a gift.
Yeah, he said, I've given spots up all day long. I'm going to take some now.
That's right.
Justin Allgaier next ahead for Elliott Sadler. Allgaier, the 7th place car. So how about Kevin Harvick taking advantage of that restart and getting out in front and trading that track position with Brad Keselowski.
And now it just put the shoe on the other foot. Keselowski cannot hardly close his gap between him and Kevin Harvick because it's so aero dependent. This track's so flat and so dependent on aero downforce to make lap time. And now Kevin has all the clean air.
Well, you hit the nail on the head on that one. I mean, last time by Kevin Harvick, a 30-13. Brad Keselowski, a 30-29. So quite a bit slower right now. Not quite a bit, but over a 1/10 of a second. And on a track this size, that's quite a bit.
And the interesting exchange on that restart with 46 laps to go a minute ago, because Brad Keselowski was the control car. He chose the outside lane. And we talked about how it looked like the outside lane was the one that was moving better on the restarts, but Harvick just got going and then just got a little boost.
By his teammate. Give him a little shot.
Didn't get across that line ahead of the race leader to find himself in penalty land. And worked hard and made the crossover, got the pass. Or I should say, held off Keselowski's try at the crossover to go back to the inside. And now Kevin has moved out.
You know, Alan, yesterday down the garage here, that 33 car was water cooler talk amongst all his competitors going, hey, 33 looks good. You go to another guy, hey, that 33 looks good. They were all talking about him. Vince, I got to tell you what, that 33 looks good to me up here, too.
It looks pretty good to crew chief Ernie Cope, too. But, you know, here's what's the scary part. You're talking about how good it is in clean air. Kevin was saying it was really good when he wasn't in clean air. He said a little loose on the throttle, but pretty good on exit. So they've been happy with their race car during this final stint, and now he gets out front with that clean air. Hey, he's used to being out front here at New Hampshire. He wants to go to victory lane for a second time.
Last time Kevin Harvick went to victory lane in a NASCAR Nationwide Series race was September 2010 at Richmond. Since then, he's led the most laps in a nationwide event on 6 different occasions and not scored the win. He won't lead the most laps today, but he might take the trophy. One of the highlights of the summer sports scene in New England, NASCAR weekend at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Sprint Cup Series will be back again in September for a race in the chase. But for today, we focus our attention on the NASCAR Nationwide Series in the final 28 laps of today's FW Webb 200. Kevin Harvick leads. Brad Keselowski second. Here's the race for third. Sam Hornish Jr. and Austin Dillon. Now Dillon by Stenhouse Jr. to be the leading runner for that nationwide insurance, $100,000.
That's not good enough either. He wants another spot from Sam Hornish. He wants that third spot.
What a week it's been for Dillon and this 3-team. Actually, what a couple of weeks it's been. Of course, got that first career win at Kentucky Speedway a couple of weeks ago. After the race, a problem in post-race tech that forced them to receive a penalty from NASCAR. Went to Daytona. Qualified blazing fast, had his time disallowed, a penalty that in the end resulted in the suspension of his crew chief and car chief for a couple of races and another 6-point docking. Dillon finds himself second in the championship entering today instead of leading because of 3 points penalties that he and this team have received during the course of the year. They are on a campaign to show that it's all good.
I agree with Rusty in the countdown show. He was talking about Austin Dillon. Now, he has nothing to do with any of those penalties, and it shouldn't tarnish anything he's done so far. The thing at Kentucky that actually was in the wrong direction for performance, but they got penalized for it. And that qualifying incident at Daytona, I'm not sure about all that, but I'll guarantee that man right there is going to get things straightened out over there, and they'll be on the straight and narrow the rest of the year.
Richard Childress sporting the Charlie one-horse hat like his grandson's been wearing around the racetrack.
Said he wears it for good luck. Last week we had him on as our in-race reporter and said he's going to wear that hat all night for good luck. He's got it on again today.
All this going on 3 seconds behind leader Kevin Harvick.
You know, man, you talk about those penalties. In my mind, those are minor things. It's nothing major, like you got a real light car or a big engine or soft tires or something like that. These are minor things that happen in this 3-car.
There's the gap first to second.
But it's still about the details. You got to, you know, the parameters that you have to work in. NASCAR makes it very, very clear, and you have to stay inside that. And when you don't, you get penalized. You pay the price, and they have done that.
No, we've talked a lot about him today, but just this point on Sam Hornish Jr. over the last month and a half, very slowly but steadily creeping into the championship picture in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Kind of been capped at his finishes, not getting the top 5s with the regularity he'd like, and certainly not getting the wins with the frequency he would like. The 1 win in the Nationwide Series for Sam last November in Phoenix, but steadily and solidly every week, 6th to 8th, now creeping up 4th to 6th, and inserting himself into that championship picture.
And those finishes have kept him in it, as we saw right there, but he won't be the champion without winning some races, and they got to step up their performance just a little bit, another notch. He's good today. He's running third. He might lose that spot here at Austin Dillon, but he's got to step it up and be able to win. And look at Keselowski now has really closed the gap on Harvick.
In traffic.
What in the world? Look at that run he's got. I mean, it's like, Kevin, just put the brakes on.
Something's wrong.
Yeah, there got to be something wrong with that 33.
Oh, yeah. Something's definitely happening.
Brad Keselowski was a second behind him and suddenly is in front of him with 21 laps to go.
Harvick, he's all mired in lap traffic. Oh, my.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, he's lost all his momentum.
Well, look at Keselowski close on him.
Okay, it makes sense now.
That's why it looked like something was wrong.
I actually thought that Kevin had a electrical problem, a tire or something, but looks like it was just a momentum problem.
A lap traffic problem.
Yeah.
Well, he won't be happy about that.
Amber Cope in that 24 car. So now Kevin Harvick again looking at the back bumper of Brad Keselowski's 22. A close encounter of the lap traffic kind has changed the lead late in today's NASCAR Nationwide Series event here at New Hampshire. 16 laps to go. Kevin Harvick had a second advantage on Brad Keselowski. Now it is Keselowski out in front after Harvick got bottled up in lap traffic off turn number 2, and Keselowski has squeezed past him and out into the lead. Well, Vince, that's a turn of events in that 33 pit they sure didn't want to see.
Boy, it was surprising for everybody, even crew chief Ernie Koch, who stood up and looked almost like he was waiting for Kevin to say something was wrong. I asked Ernie. Ernie said nothing's wrong. He just got caught up in the traffic, lost his momentum, and Harvick did not say a single word on the radio, and that may be as indicative as anything.
I bet he's mad as a bull right now. He's trying to make this ground back up and get that lead back.
Unfortunately, that 22 car has been pretty sporty all day, unfortunately for Kevin.
This gives me flashbacks to Dover, Delaware with Ryan Truex, where he's dominating, runs up in a lap car. Here comes Joey Logano, passes him, and he loses the race.
Yep.
Same thing with Kevin right now. He just have to get back up there and pass Keselowski because he's had a faster car.
Well, they do have some lap traffic ahead of them to deal with, and maybe we'll see how both of them handle it and how the lap cars handle it as well. 22 car back out in front, Dave.
Yeah, but you're right, Alan. It's kind of looking like the same in reverse order. And the ironic thing for Keselowski was that he had just asked his crew, well, how many to go, as if he was ready to turn on the afterburners. And it was just then that Harvick got into traffic, and he shot by him like a superhero.
That's what it looked like. He had the momentum shift was so big, it looked like something happened to Harvick.
Side-by-side lap cars momentarily in front of the leaders.
You can see the flagman waving that move-over flag at all these lap cars.
I say lap cars. 81, Jason Bowles, is the last car on the lead lap.
So he's technically a lap car now.
Rusty, on this racetrack where passing can be so difficult, where you catch them and how, as far as the lap cars, can be really important.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's always the entry of turn 3. As you get bottled up on the entry of turn 3, you know, you talked about that road course coming earlier, how it upsets. There's a bump back there.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, turn 3 have always been the toughest turn to get in. You get in loose or you get in tight. And you don't want a problem entering turn 3. I can deal with something in turn 1, but not turn 3.
There's the race for third. Hornish Jr. in the 12, Austin Dillon in the 3. Dillon running one spot ahead of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the racetrack in the competition for that Nationwide Insurance Dash for Cash $100,000 bonus.
Stenhouse has made just a couple of runs to the back bumper of the 3, and then Austin's able to pull a little bit of a gap, which he has now. I think Austin would feel a whole lot better if he could get by Sam Hornish and have a little buffer for that $100,000.
10 laps to go.
I'm looking at the rundown here by Elliott Sadler coming down pit road and putting those 4 tires on. He was able to power pass Justin Allgaier, put him in the position for the Dash for Cash going in to Chicago
Next week,
yeah. Good move.
Dash for Cash winner today, and the top 3 championship eligible drivers besides that person qualify for next week's $100,000 bonus at Chicagoland Speedway, the STP 300 a week from tomorrow, 2 Eastern on ESPN.
9 laps to go, Alan. I don't want to jinx anybody, but if a caution was to come out right at this point, Elliott Sadler would have fresher tires than those other 2 for that $100,000 bonus.
Last green flag run, 20 laps or less, 5 of the last 8 at New Hampshire. Green-white checker finished last year. But then this race has played out a whole lot more cleanly than the race did a year ago.
Yeah, I called that the Cash for Dash. You know what I meant, though, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Okay, good.
No, I meant what you did.
You guys bailed me out on that one. Thanks.
We were with you, pal. What a nice job today for both these drivers, Hornish and Dillon. Dillon looking for some running room inside and for third place.
He'll have position on Sam if he can complete this pass. That's what's so hard about it here, though, is making that pass and completing it. You can get position, but it's so hard to get clear. The track is so flat, you have to fight for every inch.
Just the tiniest smidgen of extra banking in that second lane.
Well, he made some space on that move.
Hornish tries the crossover. Nope.
It's their Stenhouse. He doesn't want that 3-car to get too far away from him. He sees that blue spoiler just up ahead of Sam. That's $100 grand. He's chasing.
And again, in-lap traffic for all of those cars.
Boy, Rusty, when it's that close, you can reach out and touch it.
You can right now. You know, I told you about the last 20% of the race, you're thinking money. Now these guys are thinking about that $100,000. And they're also thinking about, hey, am I locked in for next week, too?
5 laps to go here. Not missing anything up front. A couple of car lengths still between Keselowski and Harvick, 22 and 33. Casey Kane joining the party in that 38 car.
I just started to say that Kevin Harvick's going to have to pull a Hail Mary to get around Keselowski, but this last time by, 0.2 of a second faster than Brad. That's quite a bit.
And now the race for 4th. As Austin Dillon has gotten clear.
Surprised Casey Kane hasn't been a little bit better today. 6 is not terrible, but I expected him to be up there fighting for the win.
Just got on the wrong side of the strategy there at one point. Used the strategy to lead the chunk of the race from lap 39 to 81, but then gave up the track position when they had to take 4 tires, and it hasn't played out in their favor. Kevin Harvick, boy, what's he going to be thinking at the end of the race?
He's going to get out and kick the side of the car is what's going to happen probably. I mean, because that was just a tough deal. Running up on all those lap cars. I can't remember the last time I've seen a car lose that much momentum. It almost comes to a stop.
Well, they basically ran him off the track on the inside.
Brad Keselowski will lead the most laps today. Got the lead by winning the pole. Lost the lead for a strategy play at the first pit stop. Got the lead back at the second pit stop after the third and final pit stop. Lost the lead on a restart to Harvick, and was a second behind him. When Kevin got caught in the lap traffic, Keselowski made up the second and then some, and now leads at the white flag.
It's a fantastic run out of this team all day long. In fact, both Penske cars. Sam Hornish sitting there 4th, Brad leading, and a heartbreaker for Kevin Harvick.
Consolation for Kevin. New dad this week for the first time. Perspective on that. But he's going to have to settle for second in this race. Checker flag is waving, and Brad Keselowski is going to go to victory lane today in New Hampshire.
Good job, stand by, discount tire team. Hell yeah. Glad you could be here, LT. Thank you.
And the Nationwide Insurance Dash for Cash, $100,000. Car 3, Austin Dillon.
Are the man.
Well, Brad Keselowski made the trip worth it for the captain.
He sure did. Roger's happy right there, no doubt about it.
Tim Cindric, president of Penske Racing, standing behind Roger there.
Awesome job, awesome job, awesome job. Could not be prouder of our effort.
Second win of this season for Brad Keselowski, and as always, he does now his traditional Star-Spangled celebration, and Shannon, his race team, will be very happy to hand him that flag.
Yeah, looking down, they look pretty happy right now. Alan, another guy that's happy, crew chief Jeremy Bullins. You guys are getting used to being in victory lane. I do want to ask you, though, it was so vital to be up front here tonight, and you had to do a 2-tire stop twice. How did you think that would affect your chance to win?
It's just one of those things, you know, you do it and you hope it works. And luckily it was our day and it all worked out. I want to thank all the guys at the shop, built a great race car. We barely had to work on it. It's been an awesome weekend. Sit on the pole, lead the most laps and win the race, and that's what we came here to do.
What a weekend for this team. Guys?
All right, Shannon, thanks. While Brad Keselowski celebrates and while you were speaking with Jeremy Bullins, there were a brief moment of reaction by Kevin Harvick on the cool-down lap to the lap car that he ran up upon that broke all of his momentum and cost him the lead in that race. 24 car Amber Cope, Harvick down on the apron waiting for that car to come by.
This is Kevin Harvick who was waiting for Amber Cope.
And a very gentle, I'm not very happy.
She was 33 laps down. That's frustrating for somebody to lose a race like that. I'm sure Kevin's not happy about it. It's not like Brad Keselowski didn't earn it, though. He was ready to move when the opportunity presented itself, and he had a great car all day. Like I said, led the most laps.
While we wait for Keselowski to come back around to victory lane, let's hear from some more of the top finishers, or some of the top finishers in today's race. And how about Kevin Harvick? He has to settle for second, Vince.
Well, Alan, and you guys documented it with the replay and the identification. But Kevin, how disappointing is that to had a lap car come into play in that regard?
Well, the first thing I want to do is just thank all my guys on this Barber Foods Chevy. They gave us a chance to win, and I don't know. I mean, the 24, every time you come to her, she didn't know whether she's going high or low, and looked like she went up, so I committed to the bottom, and here she came down. So it's not one of those deals. It's somebody who shouldn't be on the racetrack that has no clue what they're doing in a race car. She wants to be Danica Patrick, but she can't hold her helmet. So it's I don't even know who it is, to tell you the truth. But it is what it is. My guys did a good job. We had a good race, and just came up short.
Thanks, Kevin. Alan.
Now again, turning moment of the race with 21 laps to go when Kevin Harvick ran up on the lap car of Amber Cope. Austin Dillon finished third. $100,000 to Austin Dillon, the Nationwide Insurance Dash for Cash winner today, Doc.
And he climbs out and is going over to congratulate his crew. Austin, round one of the Nationwide Dash for Cash goes to you, buddy. $100,000. Congratulations.
That's a lot of money, man. That's awesome. These guys built a great race car, and this thing took off on 2 tires really good. And it was really hot today, and luckily I've been working out really hard, and that's what helped me, I think, there at the end to fight off some of the guys, giving it all. Ricky raced me really clean. I want to thank him for that. I mean, you're racing out there for $100,000. You do a lot for that. And it was a heck of a race there at the end. I didn't see him all day until the last caution. I knew he'd be there. And we got to racing hard, and it turned out well for us.
What are you thinking when you see Stenhouse get all the way to your bumper, right at your bumper, and you pull away?
I can't see out the back. I was relating to my spotter where he was beating me and where I was beating him, and I was really good off the corner all day. So just backed my corner up, drove under him, and it worked out for us.
All right, the folks here from Nationwide to give you a check, and $100,000 going to Austin Dillon in round one of the Dash for Cash.
Doc, thanks. Austin mentioned about how warm it is today. 88 degrees right now. Temperature been in the 90s. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. getting out of his car and needing some moments and some attention to recover from the heat. We know he drove and gave it his all.
Well, he did. He left it all on the track today.
Vince Welch is looking on.
Guys, when he got out of the car, and remember, Ricky's been sick since last week. In fact, his crew chief, Mike Kelly, who you see there, been over Ricky, told me earlier today that Ricky had lost 9 pounds in the last week battling strep throat. Ricky got out of the car. At that point, looked as though he was not going to be able to stand under his own power. Eyes kind of rolled in the back of his head, and he went down. Guys were there to catch him. Shortly thereafter, Ricky came right to and was responsive. So as you can see now, he is conscious, and attention being served to him by the medics immediately after he got out of the race car. But the good news is he is conscious, alert, and communicating with crew chief Mike Kelly and the medics here on staff.
All right, Vince, thanks.
I'll tell you, when you're in the car and you're driving the car, that's one thing. You're suffering, you're hot, but when you take your helmet off and you stand up and get out of the car, it'll put you right out. You lose your senses, it makes you dizzy, and that's what's happened right here to Ricky Stenhouse. He did a great job driving, but once you get out of that car, it overcame him. It's happened to me before, but when you're in the car, it's killing you, but not as bad as when you get out.
You're so focused in. Stenhouse Jr. there on his feet. And we'll get some further attention there. And a great drive to 5th place today for the defending series champ. Great drive today as well for the man in victory lane, Brad Keselowski, your New Hampshire winner.
Brad delivering it right back to the crew as they delivered to him. And I'm telling you, Brad stayed in the car a couple minutes there, took a nice cold towel to his face. Brad, Ricky Stenhouse passed out on pit road. You won the race out there. How tough was it today?
It was hot, but, you know, that's racing, man. It's not supposed to be easy, but what a great day for this team. Thanks, Roger. Just a great car. We went to Richmond and struggled with this team really bad. And my guys took it to heart and went testing without me, with Parker Kligerman, driver in the Truck Series, Penske development guy. And they went out to Milwaukee and worked their butt off. And this car was so much better than what we had at Richmond. And I'm proud of them for putting that effort in for the snap-out discount tire Dodge. Just a great car. I'm just proud of it. This is a tough series, man, and it's tough racing. Kevin raced me hard, and it was great racing. There's very few other guys I'd like to race than Kevin. He's a lot of fun to race with, and I caught a little bit of a break in traffic, so that's the way it goes, you know. You're always going to have some traffic. There's always going to be drivers that don't know where you're at and things like that. That's part of this series, where different drivers are learning at different rates and trying to pick up their awareness of where they're at on the racetrack, and, you know, sometimes that goes against you. Today it went for us.
Were you worried on the final restart, because you radioed in that it just wasn't the same race car, and you got passed even though you're the restart leader? Sure,
yeah. The left rear tire, I think, was just slam wore out. We'd ran so long on it, and just didn't want to go on the restart, just spun the tires the whole way. So I guess that's part of it. You had also just asked before you got the gift in traffic how many laps there were left to go. So were you ready to kind of push the button anyway, and then that gift came? I can't tell you that. Oh, another move, huh? Yeah, I mean, we had a good car, Dave. We just had a good car and caught a little bit of a break, but I'm proud of the effort. It's just one of those days where things came together for us, and you know, we've been able to sit on the pole here 3 times. It'll be in the fast qualifier, but never win. It feels good to get the job done today. His first win at New Hampshire, and AB always thinking that, Brad Keselowski.
Yes, he is. He's fun to talk to, and certainly one of the bright rising stars of the sport of NASCAR racing. And in what has been a difficult week for Roger Penske, and a lot of attention focused on his organization and not necessarily the way he would like. Attention focused for the captain today in the very best possible way by his cars having a tremendous performance at New Hampshire. 1st and 4th today for Penske Racing.
Good run by both of those guys, but what about Austin Dillon winning that dash for cash and getting it done again?
Yeah, and Elliott Sadler, nice recovery for a really tough day for that team.
Top 10 for Ryan Truex as well. And let's go back downstairs to Vince Welch.
Well, I tell you what, the conditions today must have been brutal in the race car. Casey Kane was laying down, pouring water on yourself. Are you okay?
Yeah, it's hot. It was pretty hot. Our Great Clips Chevrolet was good out front, but way too loose. Way too loose out front also. But once I got back, I just couldn't pass because of it. But I was watching Ricky get out, and he passed out, and I looked at his eyes, and I was like, oh, my knees started wobbling, and I found the closest bench because I was going to follow him if I didn't sit down shortly. So I hope he's fine. But yeah, it was pretty hot, and I wish we could have won. We were up front. We were strong when we were out front, but once we got back, we had no chance.
The conditions today and feeling the way you feel and seeing the effects of some of that, how much does that concern you as you look ahead to tomorrow?
It's not that bad. I always get way hotter in these cars than I do on in our Cup cars for whatever reason. But like I said, until Ricky went down, I was all right. I was just hot, and then I about followed him. So I don't know. I'll be fine. Tomorrow should be a good race. We have a strong Farmers Insurance Chevy, and looking forward to the race.
Glad you're okay. 6th place. Good run today for Casey Kane. Shannon?
Yeah, Vince here with Sam Hornish Jr. 5th straight top 10 finish. What a run for the entire Penske organization today. What was the story of your race?
We were really good on the short runs, but we weren't good enough the longer the runs went on. We just got way too tight in the center of the corner and weren't able to get off the corner like we needed to be. But I'm real proud of the guys at Penske Racing, the guys all the way from the guys that are the road crew here to the guys that put the cars together. They've built us some real good cars and real good reliability as well. So I'm just a little bit disappointed in myself that I couldn't hold the 3 off. He was quite a bit quicker than me and had caught me a couple times, but I was able to somehow dig down a little bit deeper and get something to stay ahead of him. And just had one little slip up trying to get through some lap traffic and open the door for him.
You have 301 miles tomorrow in the Cup race. How does this momentum maybe shift until tomorrow and help you out?
Well, got to go back and get hydrated again. The good thing is this week I got 24 hours to get ready for it as opposed to last week where I had about 2 hours. So I'm looking forward to getting out there, get some good rest tonight, talk to the girls tonight on the phone. I missed them quite a bit. They didn't make it out this weekend, so I hope that they're having a good day, and we'll keep going at it. We've got a little bit harder road to hoe tomorrow, but all in all, I feel like if we do the right things, make some good calls, we'll have a good car.
Thanks, Sam. Alan?
All right, Shannon, thanks. Sam starting 24th in the NASCAR Sprint Cup race tomorrow. Looking ahead a week, Sam Hornish, one of the 4 drivers who will compete for next week's $100,000 nationwide insurance Dash for Cash bonus in the STP 300 at Chicagoland Speedway next Sunday. There are the 4.
I'll tell you, the guy I was really impressed with today, Elliott Sadler, we almost rode him off, but when he put those 4 tires on late, he drove himself right into the Dash for Cash. Good job out of that team.
Now, Austin Dillon will be eligible for that $1 million if he can sweep the Dash for Cash races and win at Iowa. So he's the only one eligible for that.
And we look ahead to the upcoming races, and the first 3 on this list that you will see are the remaining races in that Dash for Cash competition. Chicagoland, of course, the Brickyard, and Iowa Speedway nationwide at the Brickyard. Part of the Super Weekend there, along with the Rolex Grand Am Series, and of course, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, and look forward to that one in just a couple of weeks. Montreal, Watkins Glen, a lot of great racing upcoming for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Big day today for the captain, Dave.
Well, and suffice it to say, Alan, these are the kind of headlines that the car owner really, really appreciates. Your 25th win in this series. What was it like to watch Brad do that today, especially when it looked like he might not get there?
Well, I think with a dominant car like that, and Harvick is such a tough racer, and he got ahead of us, and without the traffic, he might not have had the victory. But great job by the team. Snap on, and you can see we really pulled together this past week with all the adversity we've had. So I just love it, and it's great to be here in New Hampshire, and I can't say enough what the job that Brad's doing for us.
Big win for the captain here in New Hampshire. Dr. Jerry Punch.
Back here at the medical center, we want to update Ricky Stenhouse, who's, what you heard, he'd been sick for about 4 or 5 days, lost a lot of weight. Prior to the race today, he was drinking Pedialyte, which is an electrolyte solution that we use in the ER to try to get fluids, sodium, potassium chloride back in a driver. He tried to chase the fluids, couldn't keep up with it, dehydrated, passed out or almost passed out by the car. He's now been taken to the medical center behind me. But on the way in, Ricky was able to sit up on the stretcher, talk to the EMS personnel, emergency personnel. Jack Roush has gone in. Mike Kelly has gone in. So Ricky able to talk and communicate. What they will do inside now is put an IV in and give Ricky some fluid that he couldn't get in orally before the race. He's really dry and dehydrated. Got a case of fluid. It will get him now hydrated back up over the next hour to 90 minutes. Alan?
Doc, thank you for that update. Gutting one out today, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and all the Nationwide Series drivers on a 90-degree day here in New Hampshire. Brad Keselowski celebrating the win. Sprint Cup Series with 301 miles here tomorrow. Then the Nationwide Series on next Sunday at Chicagoland Speedway for the STP 300. Sports Center is next. It was a late race twist of plot at New Hampshire today. It looked like Kevin Harvick had wrestled the win away from Brad Keselowski, but lap traffic and Brad took advantage to take the checkers.